Hey guys, it's May December, it's May, and I'm back again with another review. And this time it's of 2019's Haunt, starring Katie Stevens, who was in MTV's Faking It as Karma. I loved that show. It was a great teen show actually. I really enjoyed it. Bit silly, like most of those type of shows, like RJ Berger and Awkward and all that. But I enjoyed it. But that's not why we're doing this. We're not reviewing that show. We're reviewing Haunt, which stars Katie Stevens and Will Brittain as the leads. And basically, this is a really good horror movie. I kind of put on hold because I didn't want to watch it for some weird reason. And I got kind of a nudge to watch it by something else, kind of getting the Blu ray and yeah, sending it on. Anyway, so this film starts off with Harper, played by Katie Stevens. She's at a friend's house or her house, right, one or the other, and she's getting these messages from a stalker, right? The stalker being her ex-boyfriend, or not so much ex, but because they keep telling her you need to dump him, you need to move on. So eventually she does dump him, right, on the text because there's all these messages. It's not good to leave a man hanging. Anyway, so she goes to this Halloween party with her friends, Bailey, Angela, Evan, and Mallory, right? And there she meets Nathan, right? I think she knows, or she might not know, just know there. I kind of think she just meets him there. So while she's there, she gets a text message from her ex-boyfriend, Sam, who she's just dumped. And he's going, guess what I'm going to be? And she's like, oh, it's the big bad wolf. So eventually she goes outside because she wants to leave, and someone in a red cloak and outfit stands at the gate, right? And there's this real bit of tension where she's watching them, and they're just standing there. She sends this text, and the person doesn't look at the phone, and you're like, oh, what's this? Right? Nathan walks out, boom, the person disappears. Cliche, but good. So she's like, I want to go home. I ordered an Uber, right? And he goes, I think you're going to stay, right? So they end up getting together and end up going, let's find the haunted house. So they're driving around, and we basically meet the characters like Bailey, Angela, Mallory, and Evan and Nathan. This is like the sense of getting to know them a bit and what their characters are like, and very basic, very standard, really. So as they're driving along, Harper thinks they're being followed, so they end up stopping on the side of the road. When they look back, they don't see anything there, and all of a sudden these lights pop up saying haunted house, right beside them practically. And you're like, oh, this is a bit convenient, isn't it? Right? So they decide to go there. They drive up and they see this creepy ass clown. Big ass clown he is, doesn't talk, doesn't anything, right? So eventually, they give him, they have to sign these release forms, they have to do all this stuff, and at this moment you're thinking, this is getting really, really great atmosphere going. Because at this point, nothing much has happened, but the atmosphere is getting there. The cinematography is great, and it's really building some tension, and you're getting to meet these characters. Very cut the mill to a degree, but there's something about them that makes you enjoy them a little bit more. So they eventually go inside, they're messing around, everything's fine. And there's a little bit of creepiness going on. There's characters in masks. They see somebody get hit with a iron, what's it called? A steaming iron, and they think it's part of the show, as we do, right? Because they see a witch, they see a clown, they end up seeing a ghost. They see all these different kinds of things. I can't remember who the chainsaw one was supposed to be. Was he supposed to be he wasn't a vampire. Was he a zombie? Anyway, there's one with a chainsaw. So they end up going around and they end up having fun. They separate and things get really creepy. The lighting gets pretty good. The setting's creepy. They have to go through these tight enclosures like a tunnel, and they have to crawl through it one by one. Otherwise, they fall through the thing. Now, I don't like tight spaces. There's one tight space I really like, but we're not going to get into that. But not that tight space, right? Like in the tunnels, right? So Eventually, the lighting changes from multiple places. It's really good. You get this bright, like blue, red, white, so on. So things start getting thingy when Mallory disappears. Another one of them gets injured, cut a little bit, and so you start hearing the backstory of Harper. Harper's backstory isn't exactly, at the norms of these type of movies, but you kind of go, oh, where's this going to end? Because it's one of those things where you listen to it and you go, yeah, you can relate to this because this is a very horror kind of cliched kind of thing. But there is a payoff at the end to it, which I really, really liked. A lot of people go, oh, the ending's not that great. I like the ending. Personally, I was cheering at the ending. So you see Mallory get hit with the hot iron, and things start getting really intense from there. People are being chased, different costumes, different things happen. People separate, people go into these different rooms. There's rooms with blades, there's rooms with like things on the floor, and it starts getting really, really good. So there's a bit in it when Nathan goes into this room, which is mannequins covered in, like cloth, blankets, sheets, and you're like, there's got to be someone in here. There's got to be, right? So there's a bit where he walks, and he sees the person, start talking to him, and you're like, oh, this person's pretty good. And then you're like, I know what this is doing. They're fucking with us. So at that point, you just start going, this is getting more and more intense. The atmosphere is off the roof. I kid you not. When you get to see what these people are doing and who they are, it's just like, wow, could it get any creepier than this? The masks are creepy. The characters are creepy. The setup's creepy. The whole story as it progresses and how they get to the end of this haunted house, creepy, and how it all relates and all connects, and how these people kind of know things that they shouldn't know. And like, it's these intense moments where you're like, oh, I'm on the edge of my seat, and I don't know why. I don't know why. There's so many things in this movie have happened in other movies, but it just gripped me. There's a bit where one of the characters' hands is stuck to glue, like like when you when rats and mouse get their feet thing and they end up chewing them off, and that's how they end up dying because of those traps, which are very cruel. But that's the best way it's glowing in it. And one of them pulls their hands off, and you're like, their hands are torn, because the effects are really good. Then you go, how the hell does this person open doors and hold things like this when it's ripped off? So I guess you're supposed to think that's the glue, I guess. But it's just so shocking, and you just sit there and you're like, this is brutal at times. The enemies are just like, right? There's nothing particularly out of the norm of them, the way they act or the way they do things. But it's the way they interact, the way they dress, and the way they move back. Before you even see them and they're in the masks, right? They walk around and they've got this like cold kind of feeling, and you're like, what is this? How did this happen? There's a line in the movie where Harper gets talked to by one of the people in the mask, and that person says to her, do you think you're the first person to get this far? Which makes you wonder, is part of the reason these people the way they are is because they almost got away? Is it because of this? Is it because there's like this way of winning and you get to do this certain thing and become this way? But it's just so creepy. And I don't know why. I mean, the atmosphere is great. The tension's great. The lighting's great. The cinematography for the budget of this film is brilliant. The tight enclosures, the claustrophobic feeling, the idea that you're constantly being watched, the idea that they're just around the corner, incredible. Absolutely incredible. The sound score, great. I just was sitting here the whole time looking at that movie going, what's going to happen next? Sitting on the edge of my seat, like, wow. I can't believe it. I can't believe I like the movie that much. You can tell who's going to die and who's not going to, because it's one of those, you know what's going to happen. It always happens in these movies. But the ending, I really like the ending. I really did. I like the twist and I like the turn. Now, it's a little bit, but I think it works for the movie. I highly recommend the movie. I actually give the movie a 9 out of 10. I didn't expect to do that. When I put the movie on tonight, I thought, it's not going to be that great. I'll put it on, I'll enjoy it a little bit, and I love it. Now, do I think there should be a sequel to the movie? No, I don't, because I think it's one of those movies you put on, you watch it, and you go, this movie's a great standalone movie. It just has that kind of perfect feeling for me. I know a lot of people go, oh, it's the same old stuff. It's not that great. It's not this great. And you're free to feel that way. But for some reason, for me, it's probably one of the best movies I've watched in the last couple of years. There's bits of it remind me of Saw. There's bits of it remind me of all sorts of things. But all the good parts of those movies. There are bits in the movie where you're like, the acting's a bit cheesy. Like, I'll give you an example. So they get this guy, and he tells them, "Hey, my name's Mitch," in the mask, and they go, "We've got to go through the tunnel to get back out." So Evan goes first, and instead of waiting for the others to get through, he decides to just run off. So when Mitch goes through, and they're supposed to kill on, he goes through, and he doesn't knock, and he decides to staple the door shut, but they were coming through. And you're like, why did they do that? Why didn't he just wait there for them all to turn up and then just, they all go together? But it's a horror movie. And horror movies are that way. Nobody ever waits for anybody. Everybody's got to separate at some point so they can die. But the effects are great. The storyline's fun. I enjoyed it. I highly recommend this movie if you haven't seen it already. I want to know what you guys think down below when you tell me you've watched it, because I just thought it was great. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of negatives that people are going to tell me down below, but I guess I'm a fanboy for this film now. I've got to buy it. I've got to buy it. I've got to own it. I've got to buy the masks. I've got to do everything. Well, buy the memorabilia, wear the shirts, you name it, everything. That's what I'm going to be doing now. Every review you see me, I'm going to have a new mask on, right, of these characters, I think. Maybe not that mad, but yeah, it's great. So, as always, guys, if you like my review, let me know down below. Give it a like, subscribe, and remember, when are we going to see your real face and take that mask off? Take care, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.